Hello everyone, I know many of you enjoy listening to these videos as you fall asleep. So, before you drift off, I'd love for you to leave a comment letting me know where in the world you're tuning in from, and if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe all right now. Let's get comfortable, relax, and evento tonight's case. Sometimes love doesn't come with roses. Sometimes it comes with warnings you ignore. I should have known something was off when he messaged me. You remind me of someone I lost. That was Zion's first message to me. His profile was empty. No posts, one profile picture, just shadows and the hint of a face. I hesitated, but I replied. I wish I did in single quotes. He was charming at first, polite, deep. He asked about my fears, my dreams, my past. He listened like he cared more than anyone ever had. I told myself, it's just someone trying to connect. I ignored. The way his questions got darker over time. Do you believe in death following you? Would you love someone even if they weren't alive? I laughed him off. I was in denial. Sid knew things I never told him. Things I'd deleted. Private posts. Childhood trauma. Things only I knew. I feel connected to your soul, he said. He started calling me every night. His voice was soft but cold, like someone speaking from a dark room. He always whispered, never raised his voice, and he never said goodbye. Calls would just end with breathing, not regular breathing, more like shallow, raspy growls. I asked him about it once. What's with the breathing? He replied, I just like listening to you, even when you don't speak. I told myself he was being cute, creepy cute, but deep down, I was scared. First, my cat disappeared. Her name was Muffin. She slept in my bed every night. One morning, she was gone. No blood, no sound. Just gone. Zayan texted me that day. That thing used to watch you in your sleep. I took care of it. My heart dropped. I tried confronting him, but he turned it on me. You said you loved me, Amelia. You said you trust me. I told myself he was joking, that it was just weird timing. I was still in denial. I told my best friend, Katie. She looked at me like I was crazy. Girl, you need to stop watching horror movies. She laughed. It's probably just some dude messing with you. I showed her the messages. She scrolled through my phone, and her face turned pale. There's nothing here, she whispered. All of Zion's messages were gone. My call logs empty. The profile vanished. It was like he never existed, but I could still hear him. That night, got a voicemail from an unknown number. It was my voice, crying. Then his whisper, if they won't believe you, make them disappear. I couldn't sleep. I saw him in reflections, in windows, in dreams, always watching, always smiling. I started recording my sleep. In one video, I saw myself sitting up at 3:12 a.m., eyes open, smiling, and behind me, him, pale, shadowy, his hands resting on my shoulders. But when I showed the video to someone else, the screen glitched. Nothing showed. That's when I realized I wasn't crazy, but I was alone. Things got worse. I started losing time. I'd blink. Suddenly, I was somewhere else. I'd wake up on the bathroom floor, clothes soaked, wrists scratched like I'd been fighting something. But there were no bruises, only marks, fingertips, like someone was holding me down. I looked at the security camera app on my phone. I had installed a cheap camera in my room to prove I wasn't going crazy. At 2:59 a.m., I was asleep. At 3 a.m., I sat up, but my face was wrong. My eyes were wide, my head tilted like a puppet. And then Kai turned and spoke directly to the camera. Don't look for me. Kai belonged to him now. I don't remember saying that. I started sleeping in the living room. I kept the lights on. I stayed awake with coffee and podcasts. That's when I started seeing shadows move on their own. One night, I saw a tall figure standing in the hallway. It wasn't doing anything, just watching, still like a coat rack, except we didn't own a coat rack. I whispered. Zion smiled, but the mouth was too wide. The teeth were wrong, yellow, crooked, not human. The light flickered, and the thing was gone. But I heard the front door lock click from the inside. I tried blocking his number. I deleted every account. I even got a new phone. None of it worked. He didn't need devices anymore. He started speaking to me inside my thoughts. I'd hear him while brushing my teeth or walking down the grocery aisle. Don't pretend you don't love me. You're mine, you said, forever. Kill the noise. Let me in. Sometimes, when I looked in the mirror, I saw myself, but her eyes were red, her smile twisted. Hey, and she whispered back, he loves me more than you ever did. Katie stopped answering my calls. My mom started crying during dinner, saying, I don't know who you are anymore. I was fading. My skin looked pale. My voice wasn't mine. Sometimes I'd speak in languages I didn't understand. One day, my neighbor, a sweet old lady named Mrs. Watkins, knocked on my door. You have to stop, she said. I blinked. Stop? What? The screaming? At 3 a.m. The chanting. The smell. It's not right. I didn't tell her I hadn't been home for 2 days. That night, I woke up floating. Yes, floating. My back didn't touch the bed. I was suspended midair, my limbs stiff, my mouth wide open but silent. Zion's voice was everywhere, not in my ears, not even in my head, everywhere. Let me wear you, Amelia. Let me live again. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I felt something enter my chest, like black smoke, heavy, burning. I passed out. When I woke up, it was morning, and there was blood on the mirror. Just one sentence written in thick red smears. You finally said yes. I used to cry when I saw myself in the mirror. Now I avoid them. Something's wrong with my reflection. She smiles too much. She tilts her head like she's mocking me. Once I blinked, and she didn't. I record myself at night now, but the footage is never the same. In one video, I crawl on all fours around my bed, laughing. In another, I sit in the corner for hours, whispering Zion's name over and over, but I never remember doing any of it. And lately, I'm not sure which me is the real one. Out of desperation, I found someone. Her name was Carmen, a local psychic with a small shop and a dead-eyed cat. She didn't ask me questions. She just stared at me when I walked in and whispered, You brought something with you. Broke down crying. Carmen lit candles, burned herbs, and made me sit inside a salt circle. She held my hands. Zion, she said, eyes closed. You're not supposed to be here. For a moment, the air turned ice cold. The candles turned black. The cat hissed and ran. Then Carmen screamed. She collapsed, bleeding from her nose. Leave now, she gasped. He's not a ghost. He's a promise kept by death itself. I didn't understand, but I ran. That night, I found an old message Zion had sent months ago. If I told you I died before we met, would you still love me? I'd thought it was a metaphor. Now I wasn't sure. I went digging, and I found something. A news article from 2017. Man found dead in ritual fire. Body identified as Zion, 24. Same name, same face. He died during a love-binding ritual. He wanted to tie his soul to his forever. I stared at the photo. He was smiling, the same smile I still see in my dreams. He had loved a girl. She had left him, so he killed himself to never leave. I tried burning everything. My phone, his pictures, my journal. But the house wouldn't let me leave. The doors wouldn't open. The windows showed only black. And Zion was in every corner. His whisper in the vent. His hand on my back. His voice in my head. I died loving you. You live because of me. I screamed. You were never real. He laughed. I am more real than anyone who ever claimed to love you. On the final night, I stood with a knife in the mirror. My reflection smiled and held the same knife. I won't let you win, I said. The mirror me whispered. Then, die, and let us be together forever. I had two choices: take my life and become part of him, or destroy the mirror, the gateway. The anchor died. I chose the second. I smashed the mirror. Screams erupted from the walls. Blood poured from the cracks. The lights exploded, then dashed silence. Just silence. It's been months. I changed my number. I moved states. I don't talk to anyone about Zion. But sometimes, when I pass by mirrors, my reflection still smiles first, and sometimes I catch myself whispering his name in my sleep. After I destroyed the mirror, things seemed to get better. No whispers, no dreams, no shadows behind doors. I started eating again, sleeping. I saw a therapist who said I had been through a trauma-induced psychosis. Sounded reasonable, logical, safe. I almost believed it. But trauma doesn't explain the voice recorder that still picked up. Breathing at 3 a.m. Or the way cats run from me now. Or how, in every selfie, there's a faint silhouette behind me. I told myself, he's gone. But deep down, I knew the truth. Zion was patient. A few months later, I met someone new. Daniel. He was sweet, normal, human. He didn't ask creepy questions. He brought me flowers and chocolate. He loved my smile. He kissed my forehead. He said he wanted a future. For the first time in what felt like years, I laughed. Free. But on our third date, something happened. We were sitting in a cafe. Daniel stepped away to get napkins. When I looked down at my coffee, the foam had formed a word. Mine. And I heard the voice again. Do you think I forgot you? Daniel started having nightmares. He said he kept dreaming of a tall man standing in our bedroom doorway. One night, I woke up and found him standing at the edge of the bed, staring at me. Daniel, I whispered, but it wasn't Daniel's voice that answered. You said you loved me. Double quotes. Daniel collapsed the next morning. Cold sweats, shaking. He kept muttering the same word. Zion, Zion, Zion. The doctor said it was sleep paralysis. I knew better. He was trying to replace Daniel. I went back to Carmen, the psychic. She was scared to see me. You didn't banish him, she said. You just broke his window. He found a door. She handed me a book, ancient, black, and warm to the touch. There's one ritual left, she said. You won't like it. Read the page, it said. To bind the soul forever, it must be willingly offered or permanently rejected. The only way to stop him was to make a choice. Give in. Become his forever. Or trap him in a vessel and bury it where no one could ever find it. Guess which I chose. I performed the ritual. Candles, blood, fire, salt. A mirror covered in a black cloth. I called his name. Zion said, I release you from my soul. He appeared, not as a man, but as a shadow of smoke, with red eyes and a voice like thunder and ice. You can't undo love, he growled. I lifted the vessel, a glass jar with my blood and hair. I whispered the final words. He screamed. The windows shattered. My ears bled, and then silence. The jar sealed itself. I buried it deep in the woods, far from roads, far from people. Daniel and I are engaged now. I sleep better. I don't see shadows anymore, but some nights I still wake up at 3 a.m. and when I look into the mirror, sometimes I see the jar, and sometimes I hear a whisper. You said forever. I moved to New York City to start college. My budget was tight, so I found a cheap place online. Too cheap. The apartment was old, costly, and the walls smelled like wet stone. But the weirdest thing was my roommate, Henry. He didn't speak much. He had dark circles under his eyes, and I never saw him leave the apartment. Ever. Every night, I'd hear him pacing in his room, back and forth, like he was counting steps, like he couldn't stop. On my first night, Henry handed me a note. Not typed, handwritten, shaky. Never open the door across from the bathroom. If you hear whispering at night, ignore it. Don't touch anything in the fridge that isn't yours. If I'm ever not me, lock your door. I laughed at first, but his face was dead serious. I'm not joking, Olivia. Don't break the rules. Of course, I got curious. The door across from the bathroom had 3 locks on it. I asked Henry, what's inside? He just said, you don't want to know. That room changes people. Every time I passed it, I felt cold, and sometimes thought I heard breathing coming from the other side. Not human breathing, like something waiting. That night, I heard whispering. It came from behind my closet. Low, almost gentle voices. Whispers that said things like, let us in. Cheese. Ready? So hungry. I froze in bed, not breathing. Then I heard footsteps, but they weren't Henry's. They were too fast, too wet, too close. Then silence. In the morning, Henry was different. He was smiling, wide, too wide. He cooked pancakes and said things like, we're going to have so much fun now. All of us. All of us. There's more than just me in here, he said, tapping his head. He stared at me for too long. I locked my bedroom door that night. I was starving. I hadn't eaten all day. Henry's food was in the fridge, neatly labeled, untouched. I told myself he wouldn't notice one thing missing. I ate a container of cold soup, thick, black-red, spicy. Then I saw the label under the lid, not food. That night, the door across from the bathroom was open, just slightly, and I swear I saw something inside, a figure, bent backward, with too many arms. It whispered my name, Olivia. I slammed it shut, locked it. All 3 locks. Henry appeared behind me, smiling again. You fed it, he said. Now it's awake. Woke up with something scratched into my arm. A symbol. When I touched it, I felt something crawling under my skin. I screamed. Henry laughed. You shouldn't have eaten its offering. What the hell is in that room? He leaned close and whispered, the thing that lives in the walls, the thing that chose you. Henry told me I had 2 options. Stay here, let it in, be its voice, or run. But it'll never stop following you. He handed me another note. It said, if you hear it calling you by name, never answer. If you look into its eyes, you're already gone. And then he said, I answered once. That's why I can't leave anymore. That night, I tried to sleep, but I couldn't, because the breathing came back, not from the closet. This time, from under my bed. It whispered things in a voice like dry leaves scraping across glass. You tasted me. You belong to me. Let me wear your skin. I didn't scream. I didn't move. I just cried silently till morning came, when Henry left to go collect things, snuck into his room. It was worse than I imagined. There were jars filled with dark liquid, bones, teeth, symbols on the walls, and under his bed. I found a book wrapped in black cloth. It was handwritten, titled, The Guest, and the walls inside were pages about an ancient entity, a nameless thing that doesn't live in our world, but watches through cracks in space. It needs a voice, seen, name, and a home once invited. It never leaves. And Henry, he was its last voice at 3:33 a.m. I heard a knock, not on my door, from inside my mirror. I pulled the sheet off it, and I saw not my reflection, but the hallway, the open door, and a thing, waiting. It looked like me, but stretched. Hollow eyes, long fingers, moving wrong. It smiled and mouthed, say my name. But I don't know its name, not yet. I ran into the locked room. Henry had left it open. Inside were symbols, candles, mirrors, bones. A circle was drawn on the floor, one half empty, one half filled with black ash. There was a journal in the middle, a final entry from Henry. I can't carry it anymore. I thought I could control it. I was wrong. It chose Olivia now. It only lives in one of us at a time. The other must burn. Henry came home. He looked pale. His skin was cracking. His voice echoed like it was coming from a deep cave. It's time, he said. One of us has to stay. One of us has to burn. He dragged me into the ritual room, lit the candles. I begged him, please, don't do this. Smiled. I'm not Henry anymore. I had to choose. Let the creature use my body or trap it again inside someone else. I used the ritual. I screamed its name from the book. E-K-R-E-M. Nar. The room shook. The candles went out. Henry screamed. Not his voice. Thousands of voices. Then silence. He fell, empty. I sealed the book, burned the symbols. I thought it was over. I moved out, started over. But mirrors still feel wrong. And sometimes I see things in reflections that aren't there. Worse. Sometimes I smile when I'm not trying to. And at night, in the silence, I whisper things I don't understand. Words and languages I've never learned. And sometimes I knock on the mirror from the inside. It's been 3 weeks since the fire. I moved far away. New apartment, new locks. No mirrors, but still hear whispers in the dark corners, in the drain when water runs, and worst of all, from inside. Me, I was brushing my teeth last night, okay? And my reflection smiled before I did. 3 people have disappeared from my building. Gone. No signs of forced entry. Just vanished. And then one morning, a neighbor left a note on my door. You talk in your sleep. Please stop saying my name. I don't remember dreaming or speaking. While cleaning out my old email inbox, I found something strange. A draft. It was never sent. From Henry. Subject. If it chooses you, it doesn't die. It moves. If it speaks through you, you're not just a host. You're a gateway. Burn the mirror. Burn yourself, or it will spread, and it will smile with your face. There was a second attachment, a video file. I opened it. It showed me sleeping in my bed last night. Even though I live alone, I've started blacking out. I wake up standing in front of mirrors. Sometimes I'm bleeding dots. Sometimes there's something written in steam on the mirror. Even if the room wasn't hot, words like, almost ready, you're opening, so hungry soon. And once, just, welcome home. I returned to Henry's burned down apartment. There was nothing left, except one thing. The mirror, unbroken, standing, waiting. I brought gas, a lighter. I looked into the mirror one last time. I saw myself. But she blinked first and whispered, if you burn me, you burn us both. I set it on fire anyway. The mirror cracked. The glass screamed, not shattered, screamed. The building trembled. I felt something tear inside me, like skin ripping off soul. I passed out when I woke up. The mirror was gone. That was a month ago. I haven't seen reflections move since. Whispers. No voices. No shadows in the walls. I live quietly now, but sometimes people around me. They forget who they are for a second. They blink strangely. They hum a tune I don't remember singing. And once I heard a child at the park point at me and ask, why is her shadow smiling? When I first met Liam, everything felt like a dream. He was handsome, kind, and always knew exactly what to say. He brought me flowers, made me laugh, and stared at me like I was his whole world. I used to joke, you're too perfect, Kay. He would smile and say, I was made just for you. After 3 months, Liam moved in with me, but he had rules, strange ones. Don't go into the basement. Don't touch the locked box in my closet. If I ever say I'm someone else, run. I laughed at first. He didn't. Promise me, he said, 'cause if you break them, who wakes up? One night, I woke up and saw him standing over me, not moving, not blinking, just watching. His face looked blank. Wrong, I whispered Liam. He tilted his head and said in a voice that was not his, Liam's sleeping. I'm borrowing him. Then he smiled and walked away like nothing happened. I needed answers, so when he left to go clear his mind, I opened the basement door. The light didn't work. I used my phone's flashlight down there. It smelled like iron and mold, and on the walls, written in something dark and sticky, were these words: "Love me, or I'll take you apart. I am the one inside." She woke me up. I found the locked box in his closet. It wasn't locked. Any more inside was a photo album, but every picture was burned, scratched out. Except mine. Mine were perfect. Even ones I never knew he took. Sleeping, showering, crying, bleeding. The last photo was of me, smiling, but I wasn't smiling when it was taken. I confronted him. "What is this? What's in you?" he cried. Real tears. "I didn't want this," he said. "They made me do it. I had to give it someone it could love." "What is it?" he whispered. "The thing in me. It's a copy of your dream boyfriend. It lives off love. When you stop loving it, it kills." I packed my bags. I wrote a goodbye note, but as I reached the front door, it was nailed shut from the inside, and Liam, or the thing wearing Liam, was behind me. His eyes were black holes. Smile too wide. "You said forever." I screamed and ran, but all the windows were bricked over. The house had changed. Now I live here, still with him. He feeds me, dresses me, brushes my hair. Like a doll, he whispers. "You don't have to love me anymore. Just pretend." Times I do, sometimes I don't. But every time I try to run or scream, something scratches inside the walls, waiting. I used to hear my own thoughts. Now I only hear his, even when he's not in the room. Even when I shut my ears and scream, the walls whisper. In Liam's voice, "You'll love me again, or you'll be mine in other ways." And something wet crawls between the walls when I cry. While cleaning the kitchen, he makes me clean now. I found a hidden panel behind the oven. Inside was a box, old, rotting, with a necklace in it and a photo of another girl. Written on the back, "Melissa." She stopped loving me. I kept her anyway. And on the wall behind the panel was claw marks, like someone tried to scratch their way out. That night, I dreamed of a woman with hollow eyes and a broken neck. She whispered, "Don't pretend to love him. That's when he takes your face." Woke up to find my reflection in the mirror, smiling again, loud. Liam brought me breakfast, heart-shaped. Pancakes, smiling like nothing was wrong. But when I bit into them, they were filled with something metallic. Teeth, little broken teeth. "I kept a piece of her," he said sweetly. "Now she's part of you too." I tried something desperate. I said his name over and over. "Liam, Liam, please, if you're still in there." And for 1 second, his eyes flickered. He looked scared. He whispered, "Basement. The mirror. Break it." Then the blackness returned, and he laughed. That night I crept to the basement. The mirror was there, huge, cracked, covered in symbols. I saw all the girls in it, their faces stretched, screaming. I picked up a hammer, but the mirror spoke in Liam's voice. "Break me, and you break what's left of him." Tears ran down my face. Do I destroy it and maybe lose Liam forever? Or leave it and stay trapped in love with a monster? Then I heard Melissa's whisper again. "He's already gone. Set him free." So I smashed it once, twice. Shards flew everywhere. The house shook, the walls bled, and upstairs, Liam screamed like something was being torn out of him. When I reached the top, Liam was on the floor, eyes white, bleeding. He looked at me one last time and whispered, "I told you, I'd never leave you." Then he smiled, stopped breathing. "I live alone now. The house is gone. Burned to the ground. People say it was an accident, but sometimes I see a man across the street. He wears Liam's smile, but his face is made of many faces, all the girls, and when I try to look away, I hear the whisper, 'You loved me once.' That's all I needed." After the house burned, I thought it was over, but then I saw it on my chest, a faint black symbol, like a brand, right over my heart. It wasn't a scar, it was a sigil, the same one that was carved on the mirror in the basement. The mirror may be gone, but the bond ISN, single quotes. I started researching news reports, missing girls, unexplained deaths. I found them, 10 women, over 10 years, each dated a man who looked just like Liam. Different names, different cities, but always the same smile. And all of them ended up vanishing, dead, or found with their faces changed. One file stood out. Case 043, Melissa L., deceased, suspected occult homicide. Evidence of mirror-based ritual magic. Corpse missing. One night, I got a call. A girl's voice whispered, terrified, Is this Olivia? I found your number in an old journal. I think he's with me now." Her name was Sophie. She lived across the country, and she just started dating a guy named Elias. "He has your boyfriend's eyes," she said. "And sometimes, when we kiss, I see a different face." I met Sophie. We compared the marks on our skin. Identical, the same symbol, the same nightmares. She wasn't crazy, and neither was I, so we found the only person who might help, a woman named Rena, the sister of one of Liam's earliest victims. She told us the truth. He isn't a man. He's a parasite, spirit of obsession. It copies the perfect boyfriend. And when you stop loving him, he devours your soul. Rena gave us one last warning. It doesn't need your body. It needs your love. Just enough to open a doorway once it's loved enough times. It crosses over forever. We're number 9 and 10. If he gets to 11, he won't need to hide inside people anymore. He'll be real. Sophie and I made a pact. We're going to find the last girl. Before it does, we're going to stop him. We'll burn every face he wears, every love letter, every cursed smile. We'll find the real name of the thing inside Liam, and when we do, we'll whisper it and send it back into the dark forever. Her name is Emily, 19 years old, college student. Just started dating a guy named Aiden. Tall, gentle, perfect. Sophie showed her a picture of Liam. Emily smiled nervously. Weird. Kind of looks like Aiden. It's how it starts. We begged her to stay away, but she laughed. "You two are just jealous. He loves me." And that's the moment we knew. She was already his. We followed Emily, watched Aiden walk her home. We saw his reflection move before he did. We saw his shadow crawl backward. We saw him smile with too many teeth. But when we tried to pull Emily away, she bit Sophie, screamed like an animal. Her eyes turned black for 2 seconds. He's not just feeding on her anymore. He's hiding inside her. Rena gave us the key. The entity has a name, a real one, an old one. "Speak it," she said, "and it loses the face. It wears." We found it, written in blood on the last page of Liam's hidden journal. Amarak, the love that binds, the face that feeds. We wrote it on every wall. We carved it into wood, spoke it aloud, but each time, it echoed back in our voices that Emily went missing. Last seen entering an abandoned theater. Same place Liam once died. Sophie and I went inside. On stage, dozens of broken mirrors. In the center, Emily floating, eyes white, hair floating like smoke. And beside her, Liam, or Aiden.org. Whatever he is now. You followed me for so long, he whispered. Now you'll be part of me forever. Oh, Sophie was brave. She stepped forward and shouted his name. Amarak. The mirrors cracked. He screamed. Emily fell to the ground. And then it showed its true form. Not Liam, not Aiden, but a thing with a dozen faces. A twisting, rotting body made of every girl it had ever loved. It lunged, but I screamed too. You never loved us. You fed on us. There was fire, light, a horrible ripping sound, then silence when I woke up. Emily was breathing. Sophie was holding my hand, and the mirrors were dust. We had burned the name into the air. Self. The thing was gone. We think. We don't talk about it. Much. Sophie moved. Emily changed her name. I stopped dating, but sometimes, I get messages on my phone. No number, just a message. Hey babe, remember me? It's followed by a photo of me sleeping.